Hi, Dan here. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been here before, today what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the oil on 2023 KTM 500 EXC-F. So it's a little bit tricky. There's a few different drain plugs and stuff that you gotta do. It does. Let me just go back here. It does tell you everything that you need to do in the service manual. You can see that. Page 136. I actually printed out my service manual and I got it flagged here. It just tells you, make sure that there's 3 different drain spots where you can, drain the oil. You got to clean the magnetic or magnetized drain plug, and then there's the oil filter and stuff and the capacity that it holds. Pretty much everything you need also is right in your KTM toolkit. So hopefully you got that. If you purchased a new bike, you should have gotten it. It came with mine. And if you purchased a used one, I'm sure you could. If you didn't get the kit, I'm sure you can find one online. But you can just piece together your tools and stuff that you need to. Just different size wrenches and sockets and stuff. But it comes with everything you need. So I just got the ready to go kit here, right from KTM. It's supposed to come with everything that you need. Your oil, yeah, and that is 1.2 liters. So that should be the whole thing. And I just grabbed some brake clean just to clean up some stuff and some WD-40. Let me see. There should be a new crush ring in here. Yeah. So they give you a new crush ring too, which is always good to replace. Those are like a one-time type of thing. So let me see here. So we'll get into it. Let me see. There's two drain plugs right there. One's a magnetized one, and plus there's one underneath. Not sure if you can see it. And then your oil filter is right here. So I warmed it up a little bit. I let it run for 3 or 4 minutes just to kind of circulate the oil around. It does feel a little bit on the warm side. So we'll get into to training. We'll get this draining. All right. So we're back. I think I got everything drained out. So meanwhile, what I did is I basically, let me see here. Like I was saying, I took these all out. I blew them out with some brake clean just to blow out the fine little screen and stuff, make sure there's nothing in there. Everything does look good. So now, let me see here. I also like to make sure that you clean the, clean inside here also. And then, like I said, inspect your ring, your little O-ring there, to put a little WD-40, if I can get this to come out just a little bit, just to keep it lubricated. And WD-40 is a really good cleaner. So that way you can make sure that you get all the little sand fibers and stuff out of there, which is what we're doing right here. Let's see here, adjust that a little bit. All right, and then just put a tiny bit, if we can get just a little bit of oil back on that O-ring. So that way you don't want the O-ring to get dry, and it helps it seal. So I just put a little bit on it, which is fine. And just wipe the threads down. And you can stick the screen, goes right back in, and everything looks good. All right. Plug looks good. Okay. So I've also taken off the oil fill cap on the other side, just for any, if it's stopping any pulling the oil, not allowing it to drain properly, so that just helps keep the gravity feed going. All right, so let's just wipe this one more time. Just stick a nice dry cloth in, clean, make sure your threads are clean, which is good. There's no junk in there where it sets. All right, so this can go back in, just nice and straight forward. Okay, and we'll start it by hand. You always want to start your threads by hand. Get a good 2 or 3 turns on, it's going in nice and smooth. Then if you want, you can grab your wrench. Again, 13 millimeter. So let's just put that in and we'll snug that up a little bit. Okay, there's that. And these don't have to be that tight. I looked it up. I think it's only like 12 pounds pressure, which is just a little snug. There, just like that. All right, so this was the next one in line, which is the small one that goes right behind that one. This is the one that's magnetized. So this one, you want to make sure you take off your crush collar. That's what goes right there, that little copper collar. If you get the kits, you do come with a new one. Let's see here, where's my new one? It's right here. So let's get that out. Okay. Here's our new one. Let's put the old one over here. In case we drop it, we don't get them confused. You just want to clean all your dirt off of that. Make sure that magnet is ready to go. Let it do its job. That's why there's, you know, these engines will go forever. As long as you take good care of them. You gotta change the oil. It's the cheapest, most, you know, that and air filters are like the best maintenance to do on really any engine, but especially these small engines, because they do work really hard. So let me see here, put a little oil on those threads, just to make sure everything looks good. Okay, let's put our new collar on. And let me set that down for a second. Let's make sure that this one is clean too. Surface is good. There's no dirt in there. That looks good, nice and clean. You want to inspect it because you don't want there to be any debris or dirt or anything that falls in, you know, in there. So I would say if you needed to, you know, just put a little WD-40 on your rag if you need to, you know, because again, WD-40 is a good cleaner. Get that in there. Okay, so now we'll replace that back in there. It goes just like so. Let's see, make sure we get it started. Boom, there we go. Again, get it started by hand. Okay. So you want to make sure the threads aren't stripped. And a 13 millimeter. That's it. Get that on there. Double check that one's good. That one's good. Okay, now same thing with this one. I also blew these out with the air gun, just the screens once I cleaned them and stuff. So I'll just do the same thing. I already went through and cleaned this one. Let's see, I'll put a little WD-40 on there. You don't want to have any issues with anything. Any dirt or anything causing any issues in there. All right, so that looks good. Set that down, and I have to get down under here now. Let's see here. Get my towel all wet. Boom, boom, boom. I already cleaned this one pretty good. Let's see here. Okay. So we don't make a bigger mess. Same thing, just sticking my rag in. Okay, it looks good. And we'll put this one back in. Goes in a little bit at an angle, which you'll see. And start it by hand. Okay, now we get the wrench on it. Okay. All right. Pretty good. Just go back, double check these. Good. Good. And double check this one. Okay, that's good. All right, so now we're ready. Well, before let's see here. Oh, I cleaned up, get that area. Now we're ready to do the front oil filter. Okay, which that's this guy right here. So let's just make sure. See if we get this open. Jeepers creepers. Okay. There's that one. Okay, that's for the front. So, all right. We're gonna need this oil bin back over here. Put that there. Okay. My tight little workshop area here. All right, so we're done with that plug. We don't need that. Now, let's see. Now we're gonna need our trusty toolkit. Let's see, which one is that? Nope, way too big. Okay, looks like it's that one. Okay, there's that one. All right, so I'll put that on there. Okay. All right, got that started. Like that. Hopefully we don't make a big mess here. Let's move that over there. I have a new skid plate that I'm going to be putting on here. Let's move that over a little bit. So, skid plate, I figured I'd better get all this oil done first, right? Before I go and try to put a skid plate underneath it that looks like it most likely has to be removed to get the bottom oil to drain. Alrighty. I'll drop these in oil, that'd be my luck. Okay, there's that. Now, this should hopefully pop right off. Yep, there we go. Okay. There's a little O-ring there too. You want to be conscious of that. And while that's draining a little bit, I'm going to clean this off. Now we'll set this aside. Now there is a special tool to pull that oil filter out, but last time I just either used my fingers or a pair of pliers, if I remember correctly. So let's set that down. That looks good. Okay, now see how tricky this is. I can get this little guy. Let's see here. Yeah, I might need to get my little pinch collar. Yeah. Yep. All right. So let me go grab that. Get something in there to get that out. Yeah, I remember it was a little bit of a trouble last time. I got a small pick that'll probably grab it, pull it right out, or we'll grab some needle nose. Got my big needle nose. I don't think we're gonna need these. Let's see. Okay. Let's try. All right, let's try this little pick. There we go. Oh, it's coming. It's getting closer. There we go. One more. There we go. Jeepers. Alrighty. Yeah, definitely was ready. And that's only about A little more than 400 miles and less than 500. That looks pretty darn dirty though, compared to the new one. Real gunk in there. You just want to make sure you look and make sure it's the right one before you just go and throw it back in. So, all right, I'm gonna set that aside. Put that in the box over there. So, now, wipe my hand. All right, I'm just gonna look in there. Make sure everything looks good. Put this cloth in there. You don't want to spray any of your brake clean in there because you're talking that's, you know, internal engine area. So you don't want to do that. But I'd at least wipe in there. You know, maybe even, like I said, a little DW40 on a cloth. Little fragments will stick to it, you know. And just maybe stick your finger in as far as you can. This is probably overkill. You probably don't need to do any of this. But that's the difference when you change your own oil versus maybe... Not that dealerships are bad, as you guys know, I work at one. I run the sales department. That's just me. Again, a little OCD. Want to get that as clean as possible. And make sure it's nice. Okay. There we go. Nice. Do a little inspection. Looks good in there. Okay. Now we'll get the new filter. I'm just gonna put a little of this old oil on this because you do have to stick this over. There's a little, you know, like a little male in there, so you do have to, you know, kind of get it over that hole. So it doesn't hurt to just lubricate it a little bit there. There it goes right in. Boom. Perfect. Just gotta apply a little pressure just to make sure it goes all the way on. If you did. Make sure those. Okay. So again, this area right here, I'll use a little WD-40 on my cloth. Just to clean that surface. Make sure that's nice and clean. Okay, here's that. So, just cover down. You always want to inspect. You don't want to be too rough on this. You want to always inspect your cover before you put it back on. Look at your O-ring. Make sure your O-ring looks good. If it's damaged, I wouldn't install it. I would order another one. Maybe just button everything up and you know, wait till your new O-rings come. But mine look really good. So try to do that. Just for seal purposes, put a little, seal that up a little bit. There we go. Wiping the excess off. Okay. All right. And then just reposition this. Let's see. Doesn't really look like there's an up or down. That matters. Okay. That kind of sucks in there like that. There we go. You can kind of feel it go in. You feel that O-ring set. Okay. Put your screws back in. There's that one. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. I'll get these tightened back down. Please, if this was helpful at all, Sorry if it was a little long, but if this was helpful at all, please subscribe. We're always doing something. I'm actually probably going to work on adding the skid plate. So after this video is done, I'll probably clean this up a little bit, get all the oil residual and stuff off, and we'll install our new skid plate, see how that comes out. But that's right now. Let me get these torqued down, tighten back down. And not a lot of pressure. It should say in your owner's manual, I think it's this one's like 8 pounds per square inch. I think the other drain plugs are 10 or 12. So I don't know. I just like to go back and forth, make sure that they're tight. I switch this, a little leverage. And it's a small screw. It's all aluminum. You don't want to rip it. There, I think that's good. I think that's good. A little at a time, back and forth. Okay, that's good. All right, so they look good. So now we're ready to add oil. Let's just go back, double check everything else. So we tighten those two. Now go back, double check the other ones just to make sure we did. Sometimes you get sidetracked. So that one's good. Boom. The next one in line is good. That's number 2. And the one underneath. Make sure that one's good. Okay, that one's good. Okay, so they're all good. So now I get those all cleaned up. I'll spray it down with some WD-40 and clean the frame up and clean everything up, and then I'm gonna throw the oil on. So again, this bike calls for 1.2 liters. The kit comes with it, so just get yourself a nice funnel, plug that in, double check there is a window on the other side, which I will show you, and make sure it's all in there and everything looks good. Even do a triple check afterwards before you go ahead and fire it up. Then go ahead and fire it up. All right. Okay, now that we got the oil all back in it, the only thing to do is just to double check. That's the window I was talking about. So you can rock it and you'll see the oil, brand fresh new oil sitting in that window. So you want to make sure it's sitting in there. There's your oil fill cap. That's it. All that's left to do, if you want to go around, tighten everything up one more time, that's great. Other than that, just clean up, fire it up, let it run for a couple of minutes, and you're good to go. So again, please, if you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you. We'll see you soon.